Okay, so children being born today will have no idea what it's like to live without a phone. They won't even recognize Nokia, the first phones that we've ever had, and flip phones. They don't even know what that is. It's all about the smartphones. I remember for my birthday in 8th grade, I got a hot pink Razor, and it was the coolest phone ever. Remember when it was cool? And then now it's all about the iPhones and the smartphones. 9-year-olds now are asking for iPhones for Christmas. Like, it's getting kind of out of control. Their conversations cannot be that important. So we can all agree that technology has changed our life to make everything more accessible and convenient, but time is also more universal now with technology. Back then, everyone ran on a different clock schedule. They checked their wristwatches, but it was all different times. But now, we can check our phones, and it's all at the same time for everyone. It's obvious that personal cell phones have revolutionized society, but today I'm going to talk to you about how cell phones have changed our sense of time and urgency. So we're going to go over how in middle school we would pass notes in class, and how cell phones have given us instant gratification, and then how sometimes our messages can wait for a better or more appropriate time. So remember middle school, we would always pass notes in class, make fun of the teacher, draw silly pictures, ask what they're doing after class. And now those little pictures have turned into text. When's the last time you guys received a little note from your friend? Never. We get texts every day from our friends. No personal little greeting cards. So first it was written text, and then first it was written letters, and it turned into text, and now texts have turned into pictures. We've all heard of Snapchat, Instagram, all the above. So now pictures are even better. A picture says 1,000 words. I'm guilty of it. If I'm going out to sushi with my friends, I'll take a picture of my food and then post it on Instagram, and then I'll eat it. We've all done this before. We've grown up in a world where everything is accessible and important. Everything is important and needs to be shared now. We need this instant gratification. For example, Facebook. I personally find Facebook really annoying because everyone is just talking, complaining all the time. Maybe occasionally someone will say something intelligent, but it's usually, my life sucks, school's so hard, So, which leads us to instant gratification. We're always getting feedback. There's no waiting time. And phones, there's so much uses for phones. I can talk about that for years. For instance, you can online shop on your phones. Christmas shopping is coming up, so instead of going to the malls, avoiding that long line or traffic, parking is an issue. So you can just sit in your bed, go on your computer, and order whatever you want online. For example, I bought a phone case online for a Christmas present, and I check the mail constantly every day. When is it coming? When is it coming? It took 3 days. That's pretty standard for shipping. It took forever. We always have this instant, we need this now, we can't wait. And so, cell phones have many uses, and their progressiveness has changed the amount of time expected to do some things. Just like sharing pictures, you can't wait to tell your friends something, you have to do it now. You can't wait till in person, or receiving a letter in the mail, packages in the mail. We always are we're not constantly waiting, which is scary compared to back then. So cell phones have evolved from an accessory to a necessity. Everyone needs a cell phone. You can't really go throughout your day in this 21st century without a cell phone. And so, so CBC News actually says that we send 60 texts a day on average, which seems very low. It's probably where we are in the world, but it seems very low. Most teenagers send hundreds of texts every day. And so with great power comes great consequences. They've become a resource and a distraction. How? For example, in classes. So, you don't do it. Some of you are doing it right now, on their phone, playing, texting, whatever. Classes get boring, and then we're doing it at work, we're getting in trouble at work for doing it, and there's more severe consequences, people are texting and driving. We don't see the consequences of why, this message needs to be sent now. We don't see, this can wait for a better time. Instant gratification, So, driving is very dangerous, and the Don't Text While Driving program says that 55% of teenagers think that they are good texters while drivers, which is impossible. Like, there's no, see, he's shaking his head. Like, you know you're not a good driver when you're texting. Like, you're looking down, you're swerving, yeah, you hit the little bumps a little bit, but like, you don't know what else you're missing. So, 25% of all accidents occur while people are talking on their phones, texting, surfing the web. Like, who does that while driving? It can wait. The message that you're dying to send right now, it can wait 10 minutes. It's not gonna, the road's not gonna end. And that, the 25% of all accidents, that accounts for 1.5 million accidents in 2011. That is a lot. That isn't like casualties or anything, but just accidents. 1.5 million. So I don't know why people are risking the message that needs to be sent now to risk their life. I don't see the importance. Hey, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Like, you don't need to send that now. Remember ringing doorbells? So sometimes we forget we can wait, and we forget that it can wait. Our messages can wait and for a more appropriate time. So in conclusion, we talked about how casual notes turn into text, and how text turn into pictures, and how we always are receiving like this instant gratification. We're not really waiting for rewards. It's like this new generation. It's going to be interesting. And so we need to realize that sometimes our messages can wait. It's been done before. Our messages can wait. So technology is a part of our society. There's no way of taking it back. We love our phones. They love us more. They know us more than we know ourselves. Like passwords and like all that stuff. So it has sped up our sense of time and urgency. Now everything is important and needs to be posted, needs to be shared. So next time you are dying to send that text while driving, just realize it can wait 10 minutes. And it's not just for texting and driving. It's for like in class, at work, any scenario. Your messages can wait. Stop, like, be with reality. You know? So yeah, take a break. Take a break from your phone.
Well, I think you're having fun with the topic, but I think you need to build the argument a little bit more, and it ought to be clearer what your goal at the end is going to be. It basically comes down to we've become too dependent on instant gratification, and we need to take a break from that demand. That's the point you ought to be making. During the speech, though, you're just all over the place. You're giving examples here and talk about that and recalling something else here, and it's not building to that argument. So if you could break some of those points down. So here are some examples of things where people clearly are doing way more of this than is necessary. By the way, to me, 60 texts a day sounds like about 40 times as many texts a day as I send. So, you say that doesn't sound like much. To me, it sounds like a huge amount, and clearly, people are doing this a lot. I think you need to start off with it. Look, here are examples of people who are instantly trying to get gratification, and give some of your examples. You can use the same examples and make them fun, but tell us why you're talking about those examples. The problem is that we don't really get much of that until kind of towards the end of the speech. I think you do a pretty good job talking to the audience. There's good enthusiasm in your voice, but the organizational structure and the way the argument is building, I think, is not coming together the way you would want it to. All right.